Welcome to our channel. Today, we are diving into a crucial and complex topic, the future of Gaza. After the Prime Minister of Israel visited the United States, he met with Donald Trump, leading to significant discussions between Israel and the US. Many expected major decisions to come from this meeting, but what happened was completely unexpected, almost like an out-of-syllabus question. No one could have imagined that the US would take a central role in Gaza's future. Reports suggest that Israel plans to rebuild Gaza, but not in the way people might assume. Some believe the US will oversee Gaza's reconstruction and then return it to the Palestinians. However, if you think this is purely a humanitarian effort, it's time to reconsider. There are deeper geopolitical motives behind this strategy, and today, we will analyze the potential consequences of this approach. Gaza, which shares a border with the West Bank, has suffered immense destruction over the past year due to the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas. A ceasefire has now been brokered, and hostage exchange negotiations are underway. But before the war, how was Gaza different from what it is now? Official records show that before the conflict, Gaza had over 300,000 licensed homes. However, by 2022, the number of people living in temporary housing had already exceeded 450,000. Now, after months of intense warfare, more than 400,000 homes have been destroyed, reducing the entire region to rubble. The death toll has surpassed 46,000, making this a humanitarian disaster of massive proportions. When you see images of Gaza today, it might look like a movie set for a war film, but unfortunately, this is the grim reality. As the process of prisoner exchanges continues, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with Donald Trump at the White House. This meeting had been anticipated for some time, with Trump expected to welcome Netanyahu as the first major foreign leader in his second term. Several key issues were discussed, but two stood out: sanctions on Iran's oil industry and the future of Gaza. Iran's nuclear ambitions and regional influence have long been a concern for Israel, and the US. Trump has been clear that Iran must not acquire nuclear weapons. The logic is straightforward: if Iran obtains nuclear capability, the balance of power in the Middle East will shift dramatically. Currently, Israel holds the military advantage, and Iran, despite having a strong conventional military, lacks nuclear weapons. If Iran gains this capability, it would fundamentally change the regional security equation. To prevent this, the US aims to destabilize Iran's economy by targeting its oil exports. Since oil is Iran's primary source of revenue, restricting its sales would cripple the government's ability to fund military operations and allied groups in the region. This, in turn, benefits Israel. Returning to Gaza, what does the US really intend to do? There is speculation that the US might take control of Gaza's reconstruction. On the surface, this seems like an effort to help the Palestinian people, but in reality, there may be ulterior motives. A statement from Trump hinted at this when he said, "There is nothing left in Gaza." The people of Gaza have only experienced death and destruction. While this may sound like a sympathetic remark, the underlying message is clear: Palestinians may not be allowed to return to Gaza. This is similar to a scenario where someone is forcibly removed from their home. Instead of being allowed to return, they are told, "We will give you a better place to live, but you cannot go back to where you were." The question is, will this truly solve the problem? Where will the displaced people of Gaza go? Egypt has refused to accept refugees. Jordan has also declined to take them in. Other neighboring countries have closed their doors. The Rafah crossing, a small corridor between Gaza and Egypt, allows only a limited number of people to cross, at most, 50 to 100 people per day. The borders have been sealed to prevent mass migration. Even within Israel, Palestinians would not be treated as equals. This situation benefits Israel in the long run, as it removes any possibility of a two-state solution. Under Trump's leadership, Israel has faced fewer restrictions, receiving over $1 billion in emergency weapons storage funds. These funds are to replenish its military supplies after the Gaza conflict and tensions with Hezbollah. If Gaza is taken out of Palestinian control, what happens next? Will it be handed over to Israel? Not necessarily. The land itself holds immense strategic value. Gaza has access to the Mediterranean Sea. Offshore oil and gas resources in the region are valuable assets. The land could be used for real estate development or other economic ventures. Meanwhile, global attention has shifted from Ukraine to Gaza. The world has been vocal about supporting Ukraine against Russia, but a similar level of support for Gaza remains absent. The comparison is difficult but unavoidable. While Ukraine's war is about territorial occupation and political negotiations, the situation in Gaza involves mass displacement and long-term control over the region's future. Ultimately, the biggest beneficiary of both conflicts, Ukraine and Gaza, is the US-American geopolitical interests play a role in shaping the outcomes of both situations. What do you think about this? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us. Stay informed, and see you in the next video.